Welcome to Electric Libertyland, here on the Lions of Liberty podcast, your weekly shot of culture, comedy, and liberty with your host, Brian McWilliams.
All right, guys. I am excited to be joined by two gentlemen who have upstarts, powerful voices in the Liberty movement, and who I'd like to welcome back to Electric Libertyland, and we'll tell that story in a moment. But that is the one and only Reed Coverdale from the Naturalist Capitalist and founder of the John Stossel Mustache Exchange. Reed, welcome back, buddy.
Thanks. It's nice to talk to you sober, Brian.
How dare you, sir? I was sober as a bird. And also, I am joined by Clint, last name redacted, from Liberty Lockdown, who is here again. And I'll give the backstory. So we did, I did a case race. I think I talked a little bit about this on the show, but I did a case race with Will Fight and a few other people. Toad, from the Tower Gang was on there. And I won, to my credit. But I then decided it'd be a great idea to do a bonus show with these two gentlemen who had popped on the stream later on. And wow, I mean, fucking hell. That was quite a show. I don't remember any of it. I went back and listened to it, and it was pretty painful. What did you guys take away from it? Did I impart a lot of words of wisdom to you on the libertarian podcasting game?
I took away a lot of hatred and a lot of jealousy. That's what I remember from it. But
oh my God,
it was playful though.
It was so bad. I know. It was funny. I was like so drunk, and I was trying to be playful about it. But I listened back. I was like, I just sound drunk and mean.
I could sense that it came from a good place, even though in the moment it just sounded very spiteful. But regardless, you guys are in my theme song. It was an honor to be on. It's an honor to be on again. Thank you so much. Hear me roar, baby.
Oh, fuck you. No roaring on my show. I don't do that dumb crap. That's Mark's bit. No roaring here.
That's why I'm
Reed,
here.
what about you? What were your thoughts after that epic, I don't even know what you'd call it.
Yeah, just like Clint, I was just kind of invited into that case race, and at the last minute wasn't expecting it at all. And then suddenly I was on Lions of Liberty. So I was just kind of taking life as it came, quarter mile at a time. So it was exciting. I loved it.
Well, welcome back. Obviously, I enjoyed both of you enough, and I enjoy what you're doing enough to have you back on, and I look forward to an awesome conversation. By the way, real quick, before we get into it too, one funny thing is I saw Clint, because I went to the California caucus, or Mises caucus event, right? I didn't go to the convention. I know Clint did, but
accidentally.
What's funny is accidentally. Yeah, exactly. I've texted, because Thaddeus Russell's talking. He mentioned Clint's going to be there. And so I'm like, oh shit, okay, let me shoot Clint a text message, hey, where you at? Come on over here. And he does. So I start drinking with Thaddeus and Hotep Jesus, and I just get shit-faced. It takes a long time. But after I'm done, I'm like, all right, Clint, let's go. Let's go drinking, buddy. Let's go out and hit the bars. And he messages me that he's already gone. And not only gone, but you're staying at a hotel outside of Visalia, which is in the middle of fucking nowhere. It's next to nothing. It's in the middle of nowhere. And you're staying 30 minutes outside Visalia?
45 minutes outside. Because
did you get a special deluxe discount at the fucking Comfort Suites in Bumblefuck? Why would you do that?
Because I had not intended on going. So I decided last minute to go, and I was like, I called up the hotel that was hosting the event. I called up the hotel that was hosting the LP event. Both of them were sold out. And I was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I need to get on the road because I just wrapped up work. I got a 6-hour drive in front of me. I hop on the road, hit the 5, head straight out there, and on my way, or I just figure once I get there, I'll use Hotels Tonight and I'll just get whatever the closest thing is. No bullshit. Closest thing was almost an hour away. So I'm waiting for you to stop fucking rubbing elbows with my legends over there. And you get all shit faced. You do a special interview with them, which breaks my heart. I'm not even invited. Devastating. And then 2.5 hours later, you hit me up going like, hey, you fucking loser, where you at? Let's go party. And I'm like, dude, I'm already back at my room,
That is depressing. Well, man, I had a tiny couch you could have slept on. I was in the handicapped room. You could have just curled up like a dog in the dog bed.
That would have been a better play, but I thought I wasn't sure I was going to hear from you, man. It was a couple hours that you were with
I know.
us for,
I don't blame you. It was ridiculous. So anyway, getting into it though. So, both of you guys have had a lot of success coming up. Your shows have really blown up. You're getting very well known. I want to hear a little bit about what do you think you're doing right? Because a lot of people within the movement now, and also I want to hear two-pronged question. What do you think you're doing right and different? And are you mostly getting people listening to your show that are already in the bubble, right? The Liberty bubble? Or do you think you're breaking through and reaching people, as we all are striving to do, outside of our Liberty world? And I'll hit up Reed first.
Yeah, so what I think I'm doing right was unity was an extremely easy topic to capitalize on and monopolize on because nobody else was really pushing it. So, it's the typical libertarian thing. I'm a real libertarian. No, you're not. I am. Everyone just fighting with each other. So trying to get everyone to see the bigger picture and who the real enemy is, that was kind of an easy message to push because no one else was. And I wasn't the first guy to say that by any means. Yeah. But, I just happened to be in the spotlight at the right place at the right time saying it. So there was a void and I filled it. And as far as the, reaching other people or just people in the Liberty movement, I think I'm doing both, but the ratio has gone way up to the bubble because Dave Smith has really promoted me and, all his fans come over. And then Ryan Dawson has been on my show a bunch of times. So all his fans come over. So it's definitely not as balanced as it used to be, but definitely still getting people outside the bubble. I get messages every day about people who are joining the Libertarian Party because of me, at least in part, or, they mentioned me. So yeah, definitely both. But
awesome, man. What about you, Clint? What are you doing different, man? What do you think the key is to reaching the people and expanding the movement?
Well, I can't say that I'm having the same luck in getting people outside of the libertarian circle that Reed probably is, just because I'm not so much of a unity guy. I think that my delivery is more one of righteous indignation and fury. So I think that I'm attractive to people that are very upset.
Sexually and in the movement.
Oh, yeah.
Angry people. Clint, fuck me now! That's how it goes all the time.
Yeah, it's like that. I get DMs.
Drive down the street, look for angry prostitutes. All right, so
I get DMs from dudes all the time, just screaming like, "Dude, you inspire me. You want to hook up? What's up?" Like that type of shit. So it's pretty good. So I think that was kind of the niche I filled, was that there was a lot of rage in this scene, and it was not being tapped into. It wasn't being acknowledged. It wasn't being utilized. So I came into it as one of those people, and I just used my platform to vent about the LP, about the direction of things, about the lockdowns, about the direction of our country, the planet, tyranny on this fucking earth. I was like, I just came, guns out, ready to rock. And I think that was the void I filled, is that people were sick of tepid milquetoast takes when our fucking lives are being ruined. And
you know what, man? That's
what I did.
That's hits on something. It's like libertarian. This is where I think the Mises Caucus, which I like their messaging going for principle, right? But it also ties into, libertarians have a reputation for being kind of, fucking nerdy, not, even though we've got all these guns, right? We're supposed to be these, woodsmen. We can take care of ourselves. We're out here, trucking and chopping shit down and skinning bucks. But the reputation of libertarian is not this manly man that, the panties should be dropping over. It is the weenie. And I like that concept of, we need to be angry. I mean, that's my problem with the libertarian platform from the national perspective, right? The National Party is, it's very wheedling. It's very kowtowing. It's very, okay, which way to go? Which way is the wind blowing? Instead of just being like, hey, fuck you. This is the way we're going and we're pissed off about it. And like Clint just said, the shit we're dealing with is life and fucking death. Why are we not pissed off all the time?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually, if you go on my show, most of the people I have on are pushing that message. And Clint and I were just in a Twitter spat today, not with each other, with someone who I won't name because I don't want to give him any publicity. But
is it somebody I know? Is it somebody we all know very well?
Oh yeah, everybody knows him.
He the Voldemort of the movement now.
Well, I don't know. There's a few people you could ascribe to that label,
yeah, true.
But, they just do nothing but tear down people who are actually doing something. So a lot of people, when they hear the unity movement, they think milk toast, like, oh, don't offend each other. It's like, no, it's not what that means. It means stop attacking your fellow libertarian who's actually doing something and go do something yourself. All these guys who devote all their time to digging dirt up on people from social media posts from 5 years ago, when we're living under this tyranny. It's like, guys, let's be on the same team. Like, why don't you direct that anger toward the state or toward the media or, toward any of the bullshit that's going on? Don't aim it at your buddy, aim it at the enemy. So that's really what unity is all about.
Well, and also it's like, it's like these people, they dig up this old dirt because they want to damage somebody they don't philosophically agree with 100%. But at the same time, anytime you dig up that dirt, what happens? Well, the people that really hate them, the people that are really in power, not just people arguing within the movement, but people on the left, people in the media, like for Dave Smith, let's say he's running for president, right? God bless him. He's got my support. Let's say somebody digs up all his old shitty tweets in a spat with him, some Prague caucus or a cathedral caucus, digs up his old shitty tweets and posts them. What do you think's going to happen with that news? How does that help us to tear him down and now give them all the ammunition they need in the mainstream media to go after him? And even more so, even easily, just hand on a platter to call him a racist and a bigot and all this other fucking bullshit.
Yeah. I think that's a perfect example would be, I wasn't crazy about the Joe Jorgensen campaign, but I wouldn't go out of my way to tear her down. It's absurd. Right. It's like, if she got the position to run, I'm still going to support her as a libertarian in the sense that, like, I hope that she does well. And she didn't represent me fully, not even close. But I still am not the type of person that's going to be like, well, this lady who's making no money to do this, who's sacrificing everything to go out on the campaign trail and try and get our message to more people, fuck her forever. What a crazy person I'd have to be to feel that way. But that's how the Loser Brigade feels about Dave Smith and about us for the most part. And I'm just done with it. And I reached out this morning trying to get him to come on because I was just like, and I've done it 10 times because I saw
that little back and forth.
Yeah, because I'm not afraid to have these people talk to me. Like, I don't think that our ideas will have any challenge whatsoever in dismissing these people if they want to go toe to toe. And I wouldn't have even gone on the attack. I would have just allowed him to talk. And I think that's enough. I think that's enough to defeat these people, is to just let them speak and then point out the flaws. And they don't want it. So I'm moving on. I'm totally down with Reed's unity thing. I'm not saying I'm not a unity guy. I'm just saying that wasn't really my focus. My focus was tapping into the rage in this movement that was not being utilized. And I'm happy to serve that role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny. I actually was telling this guy, go on Clint's show. I don't want you on my show because I don't want to waste Clint is willing to waste his time on you. So go ahead, go. And he wouldn't go. And he's like, no, I want to go on your show, Reed. And I was like, dude, I have the same opinion of you that Clint does. Go on his show. And then I don't know.
He was like, I didn't know that you felt that way. I was like, what the fuck?
How did you not know that?
So funny.
Well, it is funny though. Certain people in the Loser Brigade, as you called them, they go out and, you look at some of the debates that we posted on the line, or the Lions Liberty Octagon, as I like to call it. And, people get beaten down pretty thoroughly. Right. And it's hard, and maybe it's just because I agree with what Dave is saying, but I try to position myself and I try to view the world through a pretty, neutral lens when it comes to arguments and simple logic. And to me, it just seems pretty obvious that the logic is breaking down when you see them go head to head, but yet they will not relinquish an inch. And it's like, it reminds me of what I talk about when I talk about COVID or any of these other, or climate change or anything else, where people, they get so deep in with their egos, they cannot let go. And it doesn't matter what logic you bring to the forefront. They simply put up a shield and they will not accept it in any way.
Yeah. And that's why I'm not trying to have him on my show to convert him to our side. I am just trying to have him on the show so that I can allow the audience to more fully understand the delusions by which these people operate. Because I believe they are genuinely, deeply delusional. Very similar to the people that are COVIDiots, as we call them, the people that are like locked down forever, masks work, vaccines are safe, blah, 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 blah. And there's nothing you can say to break through to them. Of course, I'm not trying to have them on my show to convert them. That would be pointless. However, I think that it is valuable to demonstrate how much more well-founded our beliefs are. So that was the only reason I was willing. And ultimately, if he ended up coming on and being like, you know what, I've been going hard on Dave for no reason, I'm going to back down. I wish you guys well. That would have been amazing, and I would have been open to that too.
I mean,
so
Chris Spangle went on Dave's show, and I'm friends with Chris Spangle, and I give him credit. And this is why I'm friends with him, is that I don't agree with Spangle on a lot of things, but he went on Dave's show and he goes, I was wrong. I was wrong. I still don't agree with on everything, but you were wrong. I was wrong in this. I'll fucking own that and, back off. And now he doesn't go out his way to criticize Dave all the fucking time.
Hey, there you go. Someone with a little bit of character. Amazing.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I think that a problem we have is we've characterized everyone as red pilled or blue pilled, but then you've got Justin Amash, who a lot of people call blue pilled, and you're grouping like all these complete losers with Justin Amash. So I came up with the term bitch fuck fucks. That's what I call them. Like these people who are just like, I mean, they exist to do nothing but tear you down. It's not really that they just don't like your messaging. They're just like parasites who want to be relevant by sucking off of your energy, and that's all they do.
Yeah, it's like that Roald Dahl book, the BFG. Well, you've got the BFCs. They're out there just stomping around, and they're not here to help you out like the BFG was. They're not nice old men. They just happen to be giant. They're just assholes.
Exactly. Yeah.
And just one quick note: if you see how perilous the condition of our country is and the globe, and you're still caught up in this tit for tat petty nonsense, I can't fuck with you. Like, I'm not even on the same level as you, like mentally. And I'm not putting myself higher. I'm just saying it's a different perspective entirely. Like, I am here to try and save my family and my kids and my kids' kids. That's what I'm fucking here for. So if you aren't here for that, I don't have any use for you. Like, you need to understand how dangerous this situation is. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people think this is just like some political game. And I'm not playing a game. Like, this is life and death. So are we going to start acting like it? I hope so. And I think that's why I ride with Mises Caucus, is because I think they are the people that feel that in their bones. And we need a hell of a lot more of it.
Yeah. Amen. Well, let's get into some news topics. Talking about life or death situations. Now we are removed from the Middle East. We're removed from Israel, right? So we are looking at a situation over there that is, an apartheid state, arguably a form of genocide, right? With what's going on. But the average American just looks at it as, all right, well, we've always supported them. We support them. There's a lot of Jews here. There's a lot of Jews there. Let's not worry too much about it, right? We're unaffected for the most part. So what do you guys think right now of what's going on with Israel-Palestine? And also in the light of, like I sent you guys a couple of news links where you've got Netanyahu basically saying something that we already knew, which is that he's totally fine taking over Gaza, taking over the West Bank, basically, militarily taking it over. And I would argue they already have, because they're a locked-in nation. And also the fact that we also see a report of bombers taking out a building because they were frustrated with the fact that that Hamas has a Gaza. By the way, I'm hearing a little bit of feedback. I think it probably is Reed, because you don't have headphones.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know.
Maybe just turn it down a little bit, because I was just hearing myself. Anyway, go ahead, Reed. Start it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because if you call Israel an apartheid state, you make the Zionists angry, and then you say, okay, well, if it's not an apartheid state, then they're attacking a sovereign nation, Palestine. Is that what you want to say? And then they get angry at that too. Like, I mean, you can't reason with them. And I talk about religion a lot, and this is one of those few areas where religion really does play a big role. Like Zionist Christians, you can't get past this topic with them. And I grew up in that atmosphere, and you try to say anything negative about Israel and they just shut you down, and there's no critical thinking about it. Like, it's just, nope, I'm not going to hear it. I'm not going to hear it. And we are funding both sides, but very lopsidedly. And we only fund Palestine at all because Israel needs Hamas to exist in order to keep doing what they're doing. So I don't know. To me, it's just a complete mess. It's just a typical U.S. involvement in the Middle East. We're not purposefully trying to solve anything. We're just there to thrive off the conflict.
It kind of reminds me, that's an interesting point. I like it a lot. Because talking about how, the Israel does need Hamas. Otherwise, they're just, a universal evil that's just beating down poor people without.
It's like us with Al Qaeda. We need Al Qaeda.
Right,
Same exact
exactly.
thing.
Or it reminds you kind of like The Boys. You ever watch The Boys on Amazon Prime? It's like a great superhero show that really. By the way, a very libertarian superhero show, I'd say, because it's exposing crony capitalism, government, the dangers of investing everything in the military and the government. But they invent super terrorists to fight the superheroes, because otherwise, if the superheroes can just take everybody out like that, what do we need them for? And to your point, the U.S., we need the same thing. Let's create some super terrorists. Let's go out there and arm Al Qaeda. Anyway, Clint, what do you think about the situation down there, man? Are we gonna back Israel to the end of time? What do you think? If are they going in to conquer West Bank, and what do we do?
Oh, I think we're going to back Israel to the end of time. I don't think there's any chance that we change course on that. That is, in my opinion, largely how our political system is ran. Is whoever promises the most support, even if it's not overtly, but if they just do it behind the scenes, like we will pay allegiance to your nation. Those are the people that get elected, and I think that track record proves out on the presidential level. Even with Trump was very, very pro-Israel as well. So. Honestly, this topic it's not my forte. I'm not going to pretend like it is. I've learned a lot from watching Ryan Dawson and him going on Reed's show. And I've learned a lot over the past 2 weeks, to be honest. So I'm going to be
Ryan Dawson, it's anti-neocon.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And so basically I'm just going to parrot a bunch of people. So I would rather not do that. So I'll just give you my only take that's, I guess, personal to me, is that I will always stand with the side that looks as if they're being trampled, and to me that appears pretty evident that it's the Palestinians. I mean, they're way outmatched, they're way outarmed, they're losing way more people, they're losing lots of children. I just think it's awful, and I would love if I didn't exist in a country that was funding it. I don't even care if they're funding both sides. If they're funding one side, I would rather us not be involved. And as it appears today, it looks like we are funding the destruction and the eventual takeover of that little slice of land. And if it leads to World War III, don't blame the libertarians. We wanted nothing to do with it.
We gotta love that too. They're like, well, we're funding both sides, everybody. That's all right. It makes us morally inculpable. But it's also one of those things. I wonder, as libertarians, obviously. And this is kind of funny because we see Black Lives Matter is now standing with Palestine, right? And great, go for it, because they would also argue that Israel is in fact the white supremacy or white supremacist of the region. And I don't know. I guess you can argue that if you want to.
Kind of true.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it really is kind of true. It's far truer there than I'd say it's truer here as far as a white supremacist society being in control of everything. But I wonder this: do you think? And, this kind of harkens back to Ron Paul. Ron Paul had called out AIPAC, right? And we used to do, back when Lions of Liberty was just a website, we did a whole thing. Ron Paul gave these amazing 32 points at the end when he was retiring from the Senate. He was giving us, Congress. Congress, conflating with Rand. He gave this, great speech with 32 points, and we went through point by point. But I wrote a whole piece about AIPAC and how, it was so amazing for him to call them out. But the political power, the monetary power, and the PR power of being able to tear down somebody as an anti-Semite, which they wield like a cudgel, makes me wonder, can a political party take that political stance like the Libertarian Party if it grows some balls, right? Dave Smith, I'm sure, will take that stance. Is that a death sentence? Or do you think, having seen Black Lives Matter now jump on the pro-Palestine boat, do you think culturally we've gotten to the point where we can finally cut this shit off and stop feeding this monster from our teeth?
I've actually seen some of the people who I grew up with who were extreme Zionists start questioning, okay, why are we still supporting this? I think it's finally starting to crack. And like you said, a lot of mainstream, not even just Black Lives Matter, but a lot of mainstream like talk show hosts are critical of the unwavering funding of Israel. So I don't know. I mean, maybe people are finally starting to see through it, finally starting to get sick of it. The thing that's annoying is you'll have politicians like AOC or Bernie Sanders who vocally oppose supporting Israel, but then they vote to fund Israel. Right. And that makes me wonder if it's just controlled opposition, if it's just a psyop to make it appear as though there's an anti-Israel and a pro-Israel side in Congress. Because, I mean, who other than like Thomas Massey right now is really against AIPAC? I mean, who really? I mean, in rhetoric, some of the Democrats speak out against it, but then they usually just vote to fund it anyway. So
yeah. Clint, what about you? What are your thoughts, man?
Personally, I just want to take the libertarian position on this and not worry about whether or not it's palatable. I think that there is a desire for truth telling and honesty, even if you're wrong, that if we don't fill that void, we're doomed. So I think that it's important that we be very, very honest about what we think. And if it's a topic that we can't come to a consensus on, state that. I think immigration's a perfect example too. Like, we don't have a firm consensus amongst libertarians as to how to handle the border. I would rather that not be what we run on. Now, there are areas where we do have consensus, so let's focus on that. If Israel and Palestine, if that comes down to a consensus thing and we actually have a consensus, I'm fine with running with that. I don't really care if it's politically palatable, because I'm not in this personally to get 51% of the vote. Like I'm here to convert people, and I'm here to like save people and save their souls even. Like I would much rather us just tell the truth about what we think about these situations and let God sort it out, because I would just rather have a clean conscience when this whole shit comes crashing down. So that's my perspective.
Yeah, I mean, the easiest thing is just to say, take the libertarian stance that we shouldn't be giving foreign aid to anybody.
Amen.
It should be easy to get libertarians on board with that. So
yeah, you'd think that would be, especially in light of, well, not only how much money we spend at home, but just looking at the amount of, if you trust the left or you believe the left, the amount of people that need help, that are desperately in poverty, which isn't true, but you would think that the Tulsi Gabbard argument, right? And Tulsi, I obviously wasn't on board with a lot of what she said, but when she did run, she had made the point. She says, look, end these wars, spend that money on healthcare, and it's like, okay, I don't agree with universal healthcare, but I could certainly fucking support that instead of continuing to bomb the shit out of everybody, continuing to do nothing, continuing to fund things that make no sense. So, that's where it also strikes me like there are a lot of libertarians, and I don't know what you guys thought about Tulsi Gabbard, but there's a lot of libertarians who just said, screw her because of her views on healthcare and climate. And in my opinion, we can't simply say screw her. You can't write people off because one or two of their views disagree with you. And they're big views. Don't get me wrong. Climate change is a big initiative. They're trying to rebuild the economy. I don't think Tulsi would go along with that, but still, we have to find some allies where they exist, and you have to fucking make coalitions where you can.
Yeah, I think the only red line with Tulsi that she crossed was guns. She wasn't good on guns, and for me, that is a genuine red line. So that was I could have overlooked all of the other stuff, to be honest, because she was pretty good on war. But if you're even gonna float the idea that I can't defend myself, peace. But otherwise, I agree with you. We do need to make some compromises. I'm not going to ride my principles into the dirt. I would like to see some liberty in my lifetime. I would like to have the capacity to raise a family in this country and not have to flee. So if that requires some compromise on some economic issues, yes, I am willing to do that.
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of the irony too, is libertarians have a reputation as being, completely uncompromising, even though the LP seems to be bending over backwards to be compromising cucks, CCs. But we do have that reputation as being utterly uncompromising. I think that's something that does need to change in a way, but it has to be under the principles that we believe in. And yes, okay, if you're going to go along, Cory Booker and the First Step Act is a good example, right? You had Rand Paul supporting that. That was a great way. It was a great forward step in prison reform. We can get behind that. It makes sense. But avoiding that stereotype of we are going to have tunnel vision, move forward in this way. If you don't agree with us, then fuck you. It all is moving the ball forward.
Yeah, I actually volunteered on her campaign in New Hampshire, and I actually know her. But it was tough, especially the gun thing that Clint brought up. And I actually really... I harassed her a lot on that issue because she was in New Hampshire a lot, and I told her, you're losing a lot of, votes because of this. That was the only real angle I could use. But Yeah, I agree with you. I mean,
you didn't harass her enough until she got a second white streak in her hair. That's how you know you've gotten to her. Or I have to ask, did the carpet match the curtains? Is there a white streak below and up top? I need to know. The people need to know.
Yeah, the people aren't going to know for now. But
if Reed knows that, he is officially a legend.
But
Reed looks up. Right. Reed looks down, and then looks up, and his mustache has a streak in it. And like, whoa!
Yeah, no, but you're right. I mean, that's a great way to also show people who aren't libertarians, like, hey, we agree with you on a lot of this stuff, and it makes them more interested. I actually converted a lot of Tulsi supporters to libertarians after she dropped out. And even while I was on her campaign, when we were, like a couple volunteers, we were putting out signs and we were riding in a vehicle together, and I was telling them why free college was a horrible idea and why Medicare for all was a terrible idea and why gun control is stupid or whatever. So, you infiltrate the other side and you show them like, hey, you guys are right here and here and here, but you're wrong here, here, and here. If you're just screaming at them from across the street that they're commies and that they want to take your self-protection away, they're not going to listen to you. But if you go and talk to them and show them like, hey, this idea is great, but think about this one, then you can actually make progress. So
yeah, amen. All right, now I'm going to take a time out. It's going to be extra funny because I've never done this before. Usually I just enter it in. But since we have a stream, we're doing more on YouTube. Time for commercial break. Commercial break, guys. As I plug Zippix, Zippix, toothpicks.com. You can use promo code ROAR, ROAR, and get 10% off your order. These things are awesome. I'm chewing one right now. Clint down there vaping. Get off the vapes, man. You can get on these Zippix toothpicks. Caffeine infused, baby. These things are delicious. They are cheaper than vaping, cheaper than cigarettes. Made in a lab, FDA registered, and I'm not gonna lie, they're a huge hit at parties. And also, I chew them when I'm drinking because they help with my hangovers. The B12 caffeine toothpicks, they are fantastic. So again, check those out. Use promo code ROAR at Zippix, Zippix, toothpicks.com. I was actually gonna ask you guys to kind of wave your hands back and forth and do a little dance during. I thought that'd be really fucking funny.
Hey, I will quit vaping if Zippix sponsors me. Hit me up, Zippix.com, Zippix. Let's go.
Yeah, actually, Clint, the owner, Marcus, had asked me for some recommendations. I'll recommend both of you guys. It's a good deal. Good deal. But you got to tell them to use promo code ROAR. That's the only catch. All right, so getting back into it. So moving off of Israel, Gaza, as it still sounds like somebody's raping a fax machine, which we'll clean that up in post. Somebody somewhere is getting a dick pic of Reed's penis faxed through to them, and they're like, I didn't even know this fax machine still worked, and it's just coming out on a dot matrix. So, I wanted to get into this. We're talking about a little bit about vaccines earlier and COVID, and I don't want to spend too much time on COVID because it's overwhelming, and we've been talking about it nonstop. But what do you guys think about the Merriam-Webster dictionary editing the definition of anti-vaxxer to now include the opponents of mandatory jabs, right? This is what it now says. This is the official definition. A person who opposes vaccination or laws that mandate vaccination.
Yeah, I think it's actually unnecessary to change the definition because you don't even have to do that anymore. I mean, you can have the dictionary define something completely black and white, but in today's society, words, definitions, standards don't mean anything anymore. You can't even have a conversation anymore. My dad used to teach philosophy, and he stopped 5 years ago because it was pointless. Because you could show someone that the conclusion wasn't consistent, and they just didn't care. And people say, "Well, to me, this word means this." Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
That's your truth. It's your truth.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. I don't know. I think they don't even need to go that far, but they did. So
I actually love it because it reminds me. It doesn't remind me. It is straight out of 1984. I mean, it is Orwellian by definition. So they'll rewrite that definition eventually too. But I think it's I think it's great. I think it's great because it really shows that the language is evolving under our feet. And I feel like a crazy person because I used to be considered, a fairly progressive person in the 90s and early 2000s. And now I'm some alt-right, bigot or whatever because I don't make I don't put Black Lives Matter in my Twitter handle or some bullshit.
Or your pronouns.
Yeah, I don't know my pronouns, so obviously I don't care about trans
I have my
people.
pronouns so I don't get nuked, and they are shall not be infringed on my Twitter page.
Nice.
So I like it. I love that they're being more transparent with it. I think there's also an interesting point to be made that because people aren't buying physical books anymore, that the dictionary is now a clickbait item. So they are likely changing the definitions just to draw attention to the fact that they still exist. And it's like what we're witnessing a lot of the time is just the dying of print empires. And I think that's why I think unfortunately it may take society with it, because our news is now so corrupted to the core with this clickbait bullshit and all the SJW nonsense, because they know it'll draw eyeballs, and it's all rage bait, really.
Yeah, no, I was gonna. You made a point. I was thinking the same thing. Is that this is clickbait? I mean, for sure, it might be kowtowing to the liberal mob, but it also, without a doubt, is clickbait. They knew. It's like when PETA puts out a press release about a Super Bowl ad that had no chance of running. They're like, we're going to show 50 bunnies being slaughtered, and you're like, oh, they turned it down. It's like the same fucking shit. It's just a PR stunt. But at the same time, the fact that it exists in this format shows you the complete illogic of the world at large, in that the opposition to a government mandated vaccine. And again, this is people on the left arguing this and then saying, we have to convert black people who are skeptical of getting a vaccine because the government has experimented on them by injecting them with so much shit. These people are blindly accepting, and how dare you oppose a government mandated vaccine? And the thing that shocked me about this, though, is that at no point was it suggested that I'm aware of. I'm sure it was bandied about in the Biden White House, but it wasn't suggested that this be a mandatory vaccine. The passports were suggested as a mandatory thing. So I was like, this is a kind of a bold step by Merriam-Webster to invent a definition which, to my knowledge, does not exist in the public lexicon yet.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
You can go, Clint.
Well, I was just going to say, shout out to the black community. They're no longer just experimenting on you. It's now all of us. Aren't you happy?
Equality.
This is progress. This is equality, folks.
Oh, no, not equality. What's the word they like to use?
Equity.
Equity.
We are now equitably treated as lab rats. Pretty dope. I mean, again, it just doesn't bother me, because it's like, call me an anti-vaxxer. I don't care. Call me a racist. I don't care. I'm none of those things. But I don't care if you call me that, because this is not like the Overton window of acceptable opinion. Like, I am going to break through that motherfucker, and I'm going to tell you what I think no matter what. So like, call me whatever you want, man. It's just, it's a losing battle. And I actually got into it with Nick Sarwalk today about this. He tweeted out the most fucking insane thing I've ever read, when he was like, if you can't get your message to be received how you intend it, is like, would that be a good thing? Basically, like, would you still use the media? And I'm like, the media is never going to allow our message to be received positively. You idiot! Like, where have you been? Yeah, Gary Johnson got dragged for eons because he made one misstep about Aleppo. Now, was it a big misstep? Yes, it was. But still, had he not been a libertarian, they wouldn't have crucified him over it. If it was fucking Hillary Clinton, they would have moved right past it. And we all know that. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I think there are some really good people on the left who are opposed to this craziness because they know it's going to be turned against them. I mean, so many people are looking at this as something that's just going to be used on the right, but they're going to use it against all of us. They're just the center left woke people. They're just using them as pawns right now. They're not protecting them. They don't look at them as their favorites or something. Like, they're just using them as idiots right now, and as soon as they can, they're going to turn it against them too. So this involves all of us, not just the right.
I think that's actually really hopeful, because we're seeing more of this. Black Lives Matter talking about how they're not getting anything, they can't even get a meeting with Biden and shit like that. The supporters of BLM that are genuinely
after funneling all that money to the Democratic National Party, all this
worked out
how
great.
Funny is that? I mean, I gotta laugh. It's pretty funny. I like it.
I think it's beautiful, because it's showing them that all you're getting from this is nothing. I mean, you're basically you're in the streets marching, you're burning shit down to get these people in power that don't give a fuck about you. Once you see that, And I think it's an arc that all political activists goes through. Same with libertarians, same with Republicans. Republicans are feeling the same way. They know the RNC doesn't represent them anymore. Democrats are now starting to recognize the DNC doesn't represent them, and that's fucking beautiful, because the more people start to see the truth, we might actually stand a chance of like working our way through this outside of the political system, or the unity stuff that we talk about all the time. Like, we need more people to understand the system is corrupt to its core. If you support a D or an R, basically whoever they are, you're not getting anything new.
Yeah, and it's more mainstream than it used to be. When Biden bombed Syria a couple months ago, I saw so many Democrats, and I don't even mean just hard left-wingers, I mean just regular Democrats who were like, why did Biden bomb Syria? You know, because they don't know anything about Biden. They tend to think like, oh, Democrats maybe against war.
He came out of the blue, this whirlwind of a 90-year-old doddering fool.
Yeah.
Where did he come from?
And then the same with when he was standing up for Israel over the last couple of weeks. So many Democrats were just like, I voted for you. I campaigned for you. I gave you money. I don't understand. And it's like, what? They are waking up.
It's hard not to laugh. It's hard not to laugh at their ignorance.
Don't worry, folks. The presidential pardons for nonviolent black drug offenders are coming down any day now. Any day.
Anytime soon. Federal legalization of marijuana, any day. You know what? I know. Somebody just said there's a weird ringing sound in the background. I'm well aware. Don't worry. I'm well aware. We don't know how to fix it. Hopefully, it on the YouTube we post, it'll probably still be there. We'll try to fix it in post for the audio stream, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Deal with it. You'll get used to it. It'll become something you can't sleep without. All right. Let's
that's
move
my
on.
fault.
I don't know if it's you or Clint. I'm not placing blame. It's just a weird humming.
I muted myself and it's still there, so it can't be me.
Okay, well,
watch if it's Brian. That'd be great.
That would be fucking funny if it was me. It's fine. It's people get over it. If they want to listen hard enough, they'll get over it. Oh, it stopped.
That was Reed just muted himself. So that's
okay. Well, it's definitely Reed.
Here,
all
wait.
Right. Yeah, it muted it. It's got to be it's some with your mic, man. Well, again, we're 40 minutes into the show at this point.
Is that better or is that worse?
Talk. Say some things.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
The feedback's gone.
The feedback stopped.
All right. Yeah, it must have been my mic. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. It's better now. Well, thanks for figuring that out.
41 minutes in.
41 minutes in. Well, hopefully we can clean up in post.
If you watch my show, you know there are plenty of technical errors all the time. So it's just,
exactly. The guy's he's in a fucking cab of a trailer truck right now, guys. I mean, give him a goddamn break. You don't give Roger Paxton a lot of shit for podcasting from the back of a pig. No, he doesn't even do podcasts anymore. Okay, so I want to do this topic to wrap it up, right? Because full disclosure, I got in a fight with a guy who's a writer for The Root on Twitter about this, and I was drunk. It was late at night, but that's what I tend to get in Twitter spats, because I tend to avoid Twitter most of the time, right? I mean, I'll go on there just to check shit, but I don't really get in fights because it takes too much time and 140 characters to get into fights on Twitter. So I only do it when I tend to be a little drunk. And I got into a spat on I think it was like Wednesday night of last week, maybe it was another night, with a guy who's like a big writer for The Root, and he had tweeted out, he goes, it's cancel culture that this woman so it's the creator of the 1619 Project, Nicole Hannah Jones. He tweeted out, he goes, this is an example of cancel culture, and snowflakes on the right, or libertarian snowflakes, say that it only happens to them. Well, here it is. This is happening to us, right? And I wrote him back. I read the story. And here's the story. I'll give you a quick synopsis. This woman is obviously a journalist working for the New York Times. She's the creator of the 1619 Project, which is, let's be honest, highly controversial. It has been attacked by almost every legitimate historian to say this is not factually accurate. That aside, right? She was offered she was trying to get a position at North Carolina Chapel Hill. And the journalism department had supported her. Big shock, right? A very, pretty much every institution is left-leaning when it comes to universities. The journalism department said, yes, give her the position, right? Now, this was going to be a tenured position. The Knight Chair in Race and Investigative Journalism, right? Tenured professorship. What she ended up getting was she was offered a 5-year professor of practice position. So to be clear on this, she still got offered a job. She still has a job. She's still unbelievably prominent. She's still on every mainstream media platform. And I'm sure there will be other colleges lining up to hire her. Now, I basically tweeted all of this back at him. And of course, I got pushed back. And the guy saying I'm rewriting the definition of cancel culture because I had said cancel culture is more in line with a social mob canceling you and you're not able to work anymore. So what are your thoughts reading this story? Do you think this is cancel culture, that she was denied a tenured professorship or not? And as a side story, there was an AP girl that just was fired, an AP reporter fired for tweeting pro-Palestine tweets that was fired recently. So are either of these cancel culture?
No. In my opinion, no, not at all. I have never opposed someone being removed from a job or removed from public life if you are lying, if you are actually spreading mistruths, and if it can be demonstrated that you are being deceptive intentionally, which I believe she has been demonstrated to be doing. So, no, I have no problem with that. Also, these colleges are a disaster. I want nothing more than to see them raised. So, I honestly, I don't really care about this story because there are so many bad professors. I think the biggest mistake she made was she should have gone to Harvard or some, Stanford, and they would have given her a tenureship right away. It's just, there should be pushback. I mean, we should be pushing back against the indoctrination of our children. You should. I mean, ultimately, we shouldn't even have to cancel these types of situations because we should have stopped sending our kids to these fucking universities a long time ago, and this would have all been solved. But as long as people are going to continue to do that, I would certainly, if I was a parent of a kid that was stupid enough to send my kid to one of these colleges, I would absolutely be coming out and saying, no, this lady is not allowed to teach my kid. She's a disaster. She's sowing hatred in our country for no fucking reason. We already are at each other's throats. Do we need more of this? Is this progress in any sense of the word other than the rewritten Orwellian version? I don't know.
I mean, and there's something to say to dispel the myth. Obviously, whatever we've been taught about the founding of the United States and taught in the school is still it's a creation myth, right?
Yes.
It's a religion. It's the religion of statism. However, there are obviously historical facts. So, Reed, what is your take on this?
Yeah, so I had Tom Woods on my show. We were talking about what is cancel culture, and is it bad? And I was making the argument that cancel culture in and of itself isn't necessarily a bad thing. It depends on what your targets are and how legitimate those targets are. So we were engaging in cancel culture a couple months ago when the vaccine passport idea was floated. We were saying we're going to boycott any store that wants to use this. We're going to try to get them put out of business. We're going to do everything we can to oppose it. And if you lived in the Jim Crow South and you boycotted a place that, wasn't allowing Black people to eat or drink, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I don't necessarily think that a lot of people protesting something and making it, unattractive to the public eye is a bad thing. I think what has happened is we've become delusional about what actual problems are, and people are doing this over free discourse of ideas, of exchange of ideas. They're coming up with problems that really don't exist, and they're turning them into life and death. And that's where the harm is. I don't think it's necessarily that you have a lot of people opposed to something that's happening. It's that you have taken something so small and blown it up to a ridiculous size. So I don't know. I don't necessarily think cancel culture is bad in and of itself. It just depends on what the subject is and how seriously you're taking it.
That's something, sorry, go ahead, Clint.
I just wanted to say the beautiful irony in all this is that the reason we are not capable of canceling the right people are because of people like Nicole Hannah-Jones, because they have built this sickness into our fucking our mind space where we judge things based off of microaggressions and all this nonsense, and we're like, oh, this guy said Zuby got suspended for saying, hey, okay, dude. This is madness.
Why did he misgender somebody?
Yeah, because it was a trans person.
I knew it.
and he didn't even know. So this is what I'm saying. I mean, if anyone deserves to be canceled inappropriately, which I don't think this is, it's her. So fuck her.
Well, and it's also something, right? To me, it's almost like, when you go into warfare, you define your terms, right? What are the terms of battle? What are we deciding the rules of this warfare are? Cancel culture. And this is the point I made to this guy, Joe. I was like, look, you're expanding the rules of cancel culture warfare to encompass everything. You can't say this is a woman, just because you got denied tenure from a board doesn't mean you're canceled, because you're still very prominent. To me, cancel culture really is more of, because to Reed's point, cancel culture is going on. Boycotts are cancel culture. Public opinion and saying we don't want to hear from you anymore is cancel culture in a way. But to me, the cancel culture is really coming into play where it's non-prominent figures being basically barred from any job, discourse, public opinion. You're persona non grata. You are sent off like Mad Max on the fucking donkey with a piñata head, strapped to you. That's cancel culture to me. This woman is still very prominent, right? She's employed, she's prominent, she's out there in the public square. And also, one has to ask the question. You're going for a very prominent public position at a university, a tenured professorship, and a tenured position comes with a lot of fucking attachments to it. That's a heavy commitment. You put out a story which is very divisive, which is challenged in the public sphere. It's not like you were riding under the fucking radar here for years. You are an unbelievably prominent person who put an unbelievably divisive piece of literature, which is now being taught in schools. Like, I'm sorry, but people are allowed to not give you fucking tenure over it if they don't feel it's appropriate.
Not to mention that, but it's academia. We are supposed to be canceling people who have shit ideas in academia. That's the whole idea of peer review, is to be like, no, this is wrong. So that's crazy. Secondarily, stop playing their fucking games. If he says, oh, you're changing the definition of cancel culture, bitch, you created it. And you don't play by the rules anyways. They write the rules. None of this shit ever applies to us anyways. So, don't worry about them calling us hypocrites. It doesn't work on them. It shouldn't work on us. We are in a war with these motherfuckers. So we got to just keep it moving. And third, tell me one person on the left who has actually been canceled. Really genuinely deeply canceled.
One. Epstein.
Okay.
Yeah, canceled.
Okay, fair enough. But he didn't kill himself. You got Owen Benjamin, Alex Jones. I could go down the list.
Yeah, Owen. Owen's been on the show a couple times, man. I don't even know. I actually reached out to Owen. Now he went a little off the reservation. I'll be honest. He went a little off the reservation, but I'd still reached out to him probably a few months ago, and I don't know, man. He's just off in the fucking wilderness. I don't know what the fuck he's doing now.
Yeah, hey, Brian, get back to me. I can't let this go by without pointing out that you said, to me, cancel culture is. So maybe we should. Maybe we should look at what Webster Dictionary says cancel culture is. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there.
God damn it. I'm sharing my truth too much.
No, but yeah, I mean, I agree with you. What you're saying, that cancel culture is when it's what I was pointing to with it. It's the extremities. You're taking someone who's so irrelevant and you're ostracizing them over something so dumb. I mean, that's kind of the epitome of what cancel culture is today. It's the overall concept of, saying ideas are trash and, boycotting or disapproving of things. That's fine. It's just when you take it to the extremities that we have, where you're making it impossible for Joe the plumber to get a job because he thinks some dumb thing or whatever. So I agree.
It's like the guy that worked at Google that wrote the paper just saying,
oh, James Dalmore.
Yeah. James Damore, I think it is.
Yeah.
He's probably blacklisted from tech companies after that whole shit went down. That's a guy who didn't have any power. And I don't really play this power dynamic thing because that gets into Marxist tactics. But let's be honest, he was just an employee.
Too many sexual harassment lawsuits in my past. I don't get into the power dynamic thing.
That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant.
That's why they call him Liberty Lockdown. He went to jail for a few months.
This is why I've never had employees, because I can't trust myself.
And me personally, though, I'd talk to anybody, I think that I'm just saying in general, society is going to have cancel culture, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just when they take it to these levels. But me personally, I think that if you want to show someone that their ideas are dumb, you should go talk to them and, expose their ideas for what they are. Like Clint was saying, if he could have that guy on his show, he could just let him talk and expose himself for what a fraud he is.
Dig your own grave, homeboy.
Yeah, that's the way to change somebody's mind. I mean, if you tell them, I was having Ryan Dawson on a few days ago, and he said, like, if you call a Nazi, okay, they don't care because that's what they are. Or if it's like calling a communist. So the way to change their minds is to actually get in there and, have a logical battle of ideas with them. So, I mean, cancel culture, even though it exists, I don't think it actually ever really solves anything. If you cancel people, you actually radicalize them and you give credence to what they're saying, because you don't usually have to censor something that's not true. Like they don't censor people for talking about aliens or stupid crap or crazy 9/11 conspiracies. They censor you when you start talking about things that might have actually happened.
Like a Wuhan lab leak. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, that's a really, really, that's actually a good point. I hate when people say that and I just said it.
Yeah,
no, that's a good point.
You made a good point. Imagine that.
I don't know what. No, that is a good point, though. It's an interesting point. That the ideas that are pushed back, and again, maybe that's why libertarians are always shut down so hard, mocked, and dismissed instead of people talking to us, because we know, and there's a reason we're all in this movement, because we know that philosophically, logically, when we argue, it's hard to beat us. I have said this on the show, and maybe one of you could give me an answer on this, because I've thought about it. I was arguing with my father-in-law, and who's a very intelligent man and has come farther towards libertarianism since he's become a property owner and gotten older and just been fucked by the government, which is funny to see because he was super left. And I was laughing. I was on his boat with him, just laughing because he's become so much more libertarian. But the one thing he got me on that I really could not provide an answer was air pollution. And it's the one thing where, from a libertarian perspective, I really don't have a good answer for it, because it is hard to prove who did it. It's hard, private property rights. Like, okay, well, I'm dying from this shit. I don't know where it's coming from. How do I prove it? Do I have the money to prove it? Who do I sue? Who do I go to prove that? It's a very difficult topic. And I know I didn't prepare either of you for this. I'm just saying, thoughts, gentlemen, because but I will tell you this. I said, you know what, John, you got me. I don't have an answer for that, man. I don't. Yeah,
they asked me on the Tower Gang podcast if farting in someone's window violated the non-aggression principle. kind of the same. I didn't really have.
Well, at least you know what butt it came out of. In this scenario, you'd have to have two butts, and they'd have to be silent but deadly, so you didn't know which butt did it.
That's correct. Yeah, I don't really have a good answer for that, and that's actually been something that I'm a huge nature guy. I've been to like a bunch of national parks, and honestly, like that was one of the statist positions that I've been letting go of the hardest. I finally did, but I don't have all the answers. So I'm in the same boat as you. So hopefully Clint can help us out.
No pressure, Clint.
Yeah, it's all on my shoulders here. I need Asarchus to like call me up and give me the answer, because I know he's got it. Yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, you will know if the pollution is significant enough, you will be able to identify who's the perpetrator. Obviously, if you're in somewhere like China, where it's just industrial pollution is everywhere, and you just don't have any regulations to deal with it, I think that there are certainly situations where you would not know who is actually the one that gave you the pollution.
Right, radiation would be a good example. Right, radiation, you can't see it. You breathe it in, just like pollution. You can't see it. So if somebody is having radiation,
okay, so radiation poisoning, that would be. I mean, how many nuclear power plants are in your area? Like you're gonna.
Well, yes.
You're probably gonna be able to figure it out. Like I have San Onofre near me. If I had radiation poisoning, I wouldn't be like. I bet it's those Fukushima motherfuckers.
But the problem is with this argument is that empirically, though, we have to strongman this. We have to steelman this.
Right.
Empirically, they could say, well, there's more than one. That's the response. There's more than one.
Why don't you sue them both? I mean,
what do you do?
I mean that's probably the answer. Personally, I think that the problem is that we have too much regulatory capture, where we have these industries that they don't have to compete, so that you end up in the situation where they're so financially well off that they can defend and crush anybody who who comes after them. I think if you were to free the market, you would have a much more competitive environment and an economy in which you wouldn't have so many monopolistic forces that can defend themselves by hiring the best attorneys on earth and just crushing the little guy. So I think a lot of this is it's very common that when we get into these niche arguments and we struggle to have a solid answer, I always try and go back to the root of the issue. Like why are we in this position to begin with? Is it really that we have these companies that are just polluting willy-nilly and that they don't care about the economy or that they don't care about the environment? I mean, in this society today where people are so fucking crazy about green tech and all this stuff, I find it hard to believe that we wouldn't have natural, like organic movements that push these companies to be better actors.
Right.
But our system is so sick as it is. It's like, how do we get from here to there?
Well, and there are. I mean, organic. I was listening to Michael Schellenberger, who was an environmentalist who now has written, a great book.
He's great.
I'm blanking on the name, but yeah, you listened to it or read it. I can't remember the name of it right now, but I've been listening to it, and he's taken the position where so often and I've argued this too. I was on this panel with again me and the firing squad, basically. A USC professor in environmentalism and whatever else, and me up there as a libertarian arguing. But what's funny is the argument I made was that number one, human action, human intuition, ingenuity, and the marketplace will drive the solution to climate change. Right. That was my one. And then the second thing was talking about how the third world nations that are polluting the most, right? Let's say pollution, like, because you were just talking, Clint, about, okay, we have these people that are polluting, right? We have a society set up where the incentive is actually to get past that pollution point. The best thing we could do would be to help these countries that are polluting, burning coal, that's expensive. It's or it's cheap for them, but it's expensive in the carbon cost. Get them through this point, get them to a higher GDP, a higher wealth point where they can have cleaner energy, because that is the evolution of climate. And that's the point I've been making this bill. And that's what Schellenberger backs me up and everybody else. And that's the thing, is like, push them forward, help them forward, and you don't have to fucking worry about it, because the natural market incentives is cleaner, more efficient, better.
And if we were to get the government out of the way, we would almost certainly have really high quality, zero carbon emission nuclear energy, which is another problem that I would definitely throw in their face if they want to get real froggy about it. By the way, Michael Schellenberger, I Googled it for you just because as an author, I would hate to not have my book shout out. Apocalypse Never, Why Environmental Alarmism Hurts Us All.
Yes, Apocalypse Never. That's the one. All right, well, gents, let's wrap it up. This has been awesome. We're about an hour in. We could keep shooting the shit if you want to do a bonus episode after this for 15 minutes. It's up to you. I don't know if you guys, I know Reed's got to drive, but let's wrap it up.
I got my 10-hour off shift, so I'm good. But
yeah, I'm ready to rock,
buddy. We'll stay on then. We'll do,
I'm ready to roar, Brian.
The goddamn right, you fucking piece of shit. Go on Mark's show. Trash ass monkey with that terrible cheesy garbage. All right, Reed, tell the people where they can find you. And by the way, I'll send you guys another link to restart this to do a bonus. So where can they find you? Tell them about your show. Where can they find you on social media? All that good stuff.
Yeah, I'm the only Reed Coverdale in the world and the only Naturalist Capitalist in the world. So if you search that anywhere, you'll find me. But I'm mostly on YouTube as the Naturalist Capitalist and Reed Coverdale on Twitter. Follow me both those places. Got a lot of big guests coming up. Got Nick Gillespie coming on next month. And the next Four Horsemen episode is me, my friend Eric, Ryan Dawson, and Scott Horton. So if I get a single word in on that video, that'll be amazing. But
yeah, no shit.
Please subscribe to me and follow me on Twitter. And thanks for having me on, Brian.
Yeah, man, for sure.
I am at Liberty Lockpod on Twitter. Most of you guys already follow me, probably. Liberty Lockdown is the show. It's on. You can follow me on Instagram, also YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. I have Gene Epstein coming on. By the way, I'm a mortgage broker, so like my expertise is really in the real estate field. So I think you'll be very interested to see what I see in that. If you check me out, I'm having Gene Epstein on to talk about that. I have the Redheaded Libertarian coming on this week, Dave Smith, and I don't know, bunch of other. Oh, Ryan Dawson as well. So it's gonna be fun. Check it out. If you're as pissed about everything as me, you will enjoy my show.
There you go, gentlemen. Thank you for joining me. This has been a joy and a pleasure. I hope you enjoyed it more than the last time you were on the show with me. I know I did. I know I'll remember it far more.
I enjoyed both times, to be honest.
Yeah, they were both great for different
All
reasons.
right. All right. Well, for me, Brian McWilliams, from Reed Coverdale, from Clint from Liberty Lockdown, and from the Lions of Liberty, always stay plugged into